begin with the class. As usual, let's have a look at the thought for the day. And the thought for the day says, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. Yes, it is always said, and you might have heard it a lot number of times, that be positive, be positive. And why so? Because if you are able to see positive things, the positive side of everything, good or bad, I am sure you will be able to face that thing or situation more energetically, more accurately. But for doing all those things, you need to be positive. Your thoughts should be positive. If exams are coming and if already I have a thought that I will not be able to do this, so that not word which comes here will not allow you really to study. Why? Because you have already made yourself negative before doing that work. So, whenever you are thinking of doing something, thinking of starting a new thing, always have a positive thought. No matter how much tough it is, always think that yes, I will be able to do it. I will do it. And then you see how your life is filled with so much of happiness, success. Just one thing that you have to do is to be positive. So now with this thought, let's start with today's class and let's see whether the Iron Master finds something positive in the homecoming of the stranger, or Edla sees something positive, or there is something positive happening in the life of the Iron Worker. So to continue with the chapter Rattrap, we are on page number 40 towards the end of the page. The Iron Master mumbled something in his bill. He could not bring himself to oppose her. So, now what has happened? The daughter, she is very kind. Right? Though not beautiful, but she is very kind, she is very passionate. And she is able to understand the condition, the situation of the Iron Worker. And that's why she says that let the stranger, let this peddler stay at home for celebrating Christmas. And poor father, as fathers generally do, they cannot go against the words of their daughters, isn't it? Many of the daughters on the next side, on the other side of the screen, you might have experienced it some or the other day. That if you say something, very, very rarely, or there are no such chances when the father disagrees with us. So same thing happening here also in the lesson. The father just gives it. He surrenders. He does not go beyond what the daughter is saying. That was all a mistake, of course, she continued. But anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here and to whom we have promised Christmas cheer. So then she says that yes, I agree that it was a mistake. We mistook this person to be someone else. But then that is not entirely his fault. We are also part to it. We are also equally responsible for that mistake. And so, she says, and moreover, we have invited him. He did not come to our place without invitation. We invited him. We promised him that we will be there with him for the Christmas. He should come to our place. We will be enjoying the Christmas. So since all things were spoken from our side, let's just fulfill our words, whatever we said. You do preach worse than a parson, said the ironmaster. I only to regret this. So now the father doesn't have any words to speak against the daughter. So he only gives in saying that you are a preacher worse than a parson. Who's a parson? Parson is a priest. Right? The Christian priest is also known as parson. So he says, and you are such a good parson that even a culprit cannot deny listening to you. So leave about me, I am just a father. So you preach so nicely, you tell the word so nicely, so effectively that a person listening to it has to follow whatever you are saying. But then he also adds, I hope we are not doing any mistake and we don't have to regret after this. The young girl took the stranger by the hand and led him up to the table. So, showing a friendly gesture, the girl holds this man, stranger, and guides him towards the table, assuring that you are safe. You need not worry, need not be troubled. Just calm down and have your breakfast. Now sit down and eat, she said, for she could see that her father had given it. So when she guides this stranger towards the table, she says that now you can sit and have your food. And she could understand that father is now no more going to speak anything regarding the state of the stranger at home. The man with the rat traps said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. So obviously after so many things happening, there was a lot of discussion between the father and the daughter. The rat trap did not have any words to speak. Right? So he quietly did what the girl was telling him. She told him to sit down and have food. He started taking it. Time after time, he looked at the young girl who had interceded for him. Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? So as he is eating, many times in between, repeatedly he keeps looking at the girl. And there's a question going on in his mind. Why is the girl doing so? Right? Why is she taking my side? Why she is defending me? Why she spoke on behalf of me? Why did she go against her father to keep me in the house? And then he's trying to find out. Thinking, trying to find out what can be the reason for her behavior. After that, Christmas Eve at Ronso passed just as it always had. And after that, the festival, as it would go, it went away. The stranger did not cause any trouble because he did nothing but sleep. And this guest was called at home to celebrate Christmas. But after revelation of his identity, maybe the father lost that enthusiasm with which he had invited the guest into. Right? Somewhere, the girl, that is Edla, she was also maybe not happy, disappointed. So all that things could be felt, and this guest, he did not say anything, he did not do anything. After taking his breakfast, he just went and he slept. He slept for the whole day. The whole forenoon, he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. So continuously he kept on sleeping. At noon, they woke him up so that he could have his share of the Christmas fare. But after that, he slept again. So in the afternoon, after breakfast he had slept. So in the afternoon, he was again woken up to have the lunch. So he had his lunch and he again went and he again slept. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsur. So the way the stranger, the iron worker who was sleeping continuously, how much a person can sleep in a day? 2 hours, 3 hours? But you cannot sleep continuously throughout the day. this man is sleeping, and it seems as if he had never had this type of peaceful sleep ever before. And that's why he's feeling so safe, secure and peaceful here that he is able to sleep. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking as though the candlelight hurt him. But after that, he disappeared again. Now, evening time when the festival was really supposed to be celebrated, and there is everywhere lights and all decorations. So, the Christmas tree was decorated. Then again, he was woken up and he was called up. So he came down and he had a look at the Christmas tree and the other lights. And maybe he was so much used to live in the darkness, right? Because because he was a thief, so always in a hiding place, away from people, so trying to protect himself from people's eyes. And doing so, he had to stay a lot many times in darkness. So this brightness, this light, he felt as if this light is hurting his eyes. He could not stare, he could not look at the lights clearly. But later after some time, he again disappeared, he again went back. 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. So after 2 hours, there was a time for the supper, the dinner. So again he was woken up, he came down and he had his Christmas feast. What was prepared? Fish and the porridge. So he ate the food. As soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said thank you and good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. So we had seen how he was bathed by the wallet, he was shaved and everything, became very clean, and he was given a very best suit of the Iron Master to wear. Now in the night, after the dinner, after supper, as the custom says, maybe there will be fewer guests. So when they all got up from the table, he went to each person wishing and taking their leave, telling them good night. So the moment he came in front of the girl, through her gestures, she made it very clear, because they knew that now this man is going to leave, maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. So she made it clear to him that this suit you can keep it, you need not give it back, this is just as a Christmas present for you. So she made these things very clear to the man. He did not have to return it, and if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in a place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back again. And along with this, that the suit was a Christmas present, she also said that if next year again you want to come back for the Christmas, you are most welcome. If you find that this place is safe for you, if you feel like spending your Christmas again with us, you will always be welcome here at our place. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl in boundless amazement. So listening to all this, the stranger, the iron worker, he was overwhelmed. He was deeply touched by the kindness of the girl, the kindness that she is showing to him. He was really moved. Right? The next morning, the iron master and his daughter got up in good season to go to the early Christmas service. Now after the Christmas night, in the morning again, the daughter and the father, they got up and got ready to go for the prayers at church. Their guest was still asleep and they did not disturb him. So the guest, the iron worker, he was sleeping and they did not wake him up. They went away to the church. When at about 10 o'clock, they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly than usual. So now when they were returning from the church, the young girl, she was more upset. Right? She was very sad, very upset. Now what was the reason for this? Let's see. At church, she had learned that one of the old crofters of the ironworks had been robbed by a man who went around selling rattraps. So now maybe in the church, people after prayer, they might be exchanging their greetings with each other. So from somewhere the girl comes to know that the crofter had been robbed of 30 kroner, right? And this was done by a person who said Rattrap. So as soon as she might have heard this, she remembered that they also have a Rattrap seller as a guest at their home. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said the father. I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. So now father had already warned Edla when she said that the man would be staying with them for Christmas. And then he says, I wonder what all things he might have stolen up till now. He's talking about the silver cutleries and all. The wagon had hardly stopped at the front steps when the ironmaster asked the wagon whether the stranger was still there. So as soon as the carriage came in front of the door, the ironmaster, he got down and he saw the valet and he asked, is that man still here or has he left? He added that he had heard at church that the man was a thief. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and that he had not taken anything with him at all. So when he was asking about the man, he also added that that man is a thief, I came to know in the church. To which the valet replies that the man is already gone. But he did not take anything with him. He came empty-handed and he went empty-handed. He did not steal anything. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package which Miss Wilmanson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. So the valet says that the man did not take anything with him, but he left a small gift packet for Miss Wilmanson. And he has requested that Miss Wilmanson should accept the present. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up that the contents came into view at once. So the girl took the present in her hand and she opened, and this was not packed very nicely. Right? Maybe in a hurry he did it, or he didn't know how to pack gifts because he had maybe never given any gifts to anybody as he was very poor. Right? So as soon as she opened the box, what did she get? She got a small rat trap. And inside that rat trap, there were 30 kroner which he had bought from the crofter, the old man. She found a small rat trap, and in it lay 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter written in a large, jagged characters. So it was not that in the rat trap there were only those 30 kroner notes, but there was also a small note with it. And what was in that? Honored and noble miss is addressing the lady. So when addressing a lady, we need to be very respectful. So he's showing all his respect towards the lady who had been so thoughtful, so kind towards him. So very politely is addressing her. Since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you in return, as if I was a real captain. So now the man is really touched by the action that the girl Edla had done, by the kindness that she has shown towards him. So he says, I am a mere peddler, a the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for a poor wanderer. So now he says, you have been so kind, so nice to me, I cannot embarrass you. In front of you, I cannot come in front of you to embarrass you that you had helped a thief, a robber. So I want to be good. You have aroused that goodness into me. Right? You have forced me to discover that positive side of mine. Thought? Remember? Yes. So here this iron worker, he gets that positive thought. That goodness from him which was hidden. Maybe because of the behavior of the people towards him, because of the situation, the circumstances he had been facing. But this one stay at the place and the kind gestures shown by Ella had forced the man to be good again. Had forced the man to think positively about the world, about the people. Whereas in the beginning, if you remember, the man thought the world to be a rat trap. That's again a negative thought. But now he's got that positivity. And then he says that this money which I had robbed from that old man, the profiter, what you can do, you can be kind enough and help me out by returning this money to that man who has put this money near the window frame, a glass window frame. Where any passerby, any thief who would be moving from there, and if he sees that, would be tempted to get that. So that old man also can be compared like he has set a rat trap for trapping the thief. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in the world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain, because in that way he got power to clear himself. So he says this rat trap, this is a present for you, this is a gift for you. This will always remind you as a person who has received the gift and remind me as a person who has gifted. That this rat trap is a symbol of something. It is a symbol of something that because of this rat trap only, I could find that good person inside me. Because you helped me to develop or to discover that captain in me. Right? Even when you came to know that I am not the captain, still you took my side, you spoke on behalf of me, you were very kind to me. Because in that way he got power to clear himself. And because you showed faith in me, I really got that courage. I really got that courage to accept this. Remember, he had been running here and there in search of a safe place where he would not be caught because he had stolen money from the profit. But he says that you helped me out in clearing myself, in clearing myself, in making me come out of this trap. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain Wonstead. So, and then he says, I am really very thankful to you, grateful to you, and this is a note of friendship which I am writing to you, and down he signs Captain Wonstead. So, what they mistook him to be, he is signing with that same name. And here the story comes to an end on a positive note that the kindness that was shown by Edler has really given a meaning to somebody's life. It has really helped him to become positive again in their life. So that's all for today's class, and here even we end with our lesson. In the next video we shall be discussing the character sketches, the important character sketches and the question answers of this lesson. Until then, keep learning, keep experiencing, stay safe. Bye-bye.